Vitalik gave it to me like, I don't know, 5 years ago. And so it disappeared because I think I looked online later, and people told me that Richard has tweeted that he doesn't like e-hacks anymore. He doesn't believe it's real hacks. He thinks that p-hacks should be the real hacks, uh, which is understandable. Richard launched Pulse Chain to improve gas fees, to provide better liquidity for the coins that he has launched. And in his narrative of shifting the focus to p hacks or pulse chain hacks, he's actually not wrong about uh, the fact that obviously Ethereum is very congested and it costs a lot of money on Ethereum to trade. It costs thousands of dollars to unstake e-hacks on Ethereum. So I do not disagree that Pulse Chain in this particular case is good for p-hacks and good for hacks. What I don't agree with is the execution part. Whether it was malicious or by accident, Richard has basically destroyed 80% of the value of what Hex was. The original Hex on Ethereum, a lot of people were staked for 555. Even if you staked for a year, you could not unstake. There was a lot of emergency unstakes. Um, Richard made $1 million just on the unstaking alone that day. Somebody, I think, Hex McKenzie, provided a screenshot of those EES fees going to Richard's wallet or the OA wallet.
Richard, 50%.
Well, I guess it was 50%. So maybe it was like $1 million or $2 million in the penalties for the early on stakes. And so people panicked, and Richard got more money. He already has everybody's sacrifice money, by the way. It's like over $1 billion. And so, though I agree that Ethereum is struggling, and I agree that Hex is very difficult to use on Ethereum for staking and unstaking, I do not agree with the method of the delivery and the destruction of the wealth of everybody who actually held Hex. The community in eHex is large. It's like 330,000 wallets. They all got affected. Now, the interesting part is that looking at the analysis on chain, a lot of whales sold Hex 1 day prior. So could it be that they knew something, that Hex is probably going to get wiped out and sold ahead, basically sold to innocent bystanders who were just in crypto, got interested in Hex, bought it, and then got wiped out and they won? The funny thing about this whole situation is that Richard always said that low liquidity is good, and if you pay attention to other projects, you will damage the price of Hex. And what the irony that we see ourselves and find ourselves today looking at is that he is the one who damaged the price the most, which is really, really sad. And in our conversation with Zinsu earlier today, I kind of equate this to 2008 financial collapse, where a middleman, or in that particular case, central bank and various financial authorities, presented all kinds of financial instruments to the public, and then ultimately got everybody rugged on those financial instruments, which was the subprime mortgage loans. Now, in this particular case, what happened afterwards in 2009, Bitcoin was invented specifically to battle and to provide people with a way to store their value into cryptocurrencies without the middleman. And I really liked Richard from 3 or 4 years ago, where he talked about how it's important to have no any sort of authority that controls your crypto, no admin keys. And yet,
I've always praised whatever we think of Richard, whatever we think of Hex, whatever we think of Pulse. I always said that I really respect him for talking about self-custody.
Yeah, absolutely. Self custody is a function.
But
Censorship.
no one else did it. No one else did it.
Yeah, no one else did it. Everybody wanted to get rich, like Celsius and everybody else out there. They basically pretended to be crypto and then took everybody's money and then failed and enriched themselves in the process. Now,
Corporate crypto.
corporate crypto or pretend crypto. Now, the question is that at the time, Hex looked like it wasn't a pretend crypto. It looked like more like closer to Bitcoin than anything else. And then, of course, more things got in the light. Like, for example, there was a lot of tornado cash activity, and the world's largest diamond appears to be bought with $5 million worth of Hex. Sacrifice phase was insane. But anyhow, so I think the marketing of Pulse Chain really got to Richard, and he just decided to kill his first child and just basically said that, hey, this thing is much better. But in my opinion, the only reason why Pulse Chain is better for Richard is because he has more of it in the bag. He has the largest bag of Pulse. And of course, he wants everybody else to get wrecked everywhere else to have no choice but to get into the products on Pulse Chain. And that's really unfortunate. I think this is not the type of marketing that you should be doing. This goes beyond outrage marketing, where you actually destroy everybody's wealth. And at the same time, when the conversations with Hexicans got heated, and Richard, he just tweeted and basically said that, well, it's you guys' own fault. You're the ones who sold. All I did was a tweet. And this type of not taking responsibility is it's not deserving of I guess of a founder that had such a visible project. And even though we didn't want this day to come, this day did come, and it came to pass. The value has been destroyed, and Hex is no longer what it was on Ethereum, at least. Now maybe it will be better on Pulse Chain, but the fact remains the fact is that people lost a lot of money. I lost 75% of my ETH, unfortunately, and but I'm not really complaining. It is what it is. I'm just saying that I was part of the group of the people who held Hex, and so a lot of Hexicans actually messaged me and they said that, hey, maybe you should like do something. What about like launching a coin that like give people an airdrop of something? And over the year, as Zen community got stronger and stronger, a lot of people from the Hexagon community, which are actually also there's a lot of Zenians among Hexagons and vice versa, they said that, hey, given that Zen was kind of like born out of this Hexagon interaction, why not give Hexagon some sort of an airdrop? And I always felt that there was no really legit reason to do that, because it would appear that we're trying to damage Hex, and we didn't want to do that. And so on March 10th, it was Richard who damaged Hex, and he basically did the hard work for us. Like, we didn't want to damage it to begin with, but given that he already done it, there's no recourse. It just makes total sense to proceed with the plans and to launch a coin we call Xhex. And the functionality of the Xhex is basically just a meme coin. We want it to be a Hexagon meme coin, a community meme coin, without admin keys, without any sort of control. Everybody who held Hex and P-Hex on March 9th, which is just before that fateful day of March 10th, will get an airdrop. We're still considering, like, obviously we're not going to give anything to the OA. He already has enough sacrifice money from the community. He doesn't need any more coins. So I think we're going to exclude the daughter addresses as well, and I have a list somewhere. But the point is that we want all of the people that have held Hex up to March 9th to get an airdrop of Xhex on X1. And this is...
So it's a meme coin. It's the most simplest form of a coin. There's no staking. There's no controls. It's an airdrop to the community, or a claimable token, basically. We're going to get into who's eligible to get it and who's not. But that's what it is.
Yeah,
there's nothing more of it.
It is exactly.
It's not a fork of Hex. It's not a replacement of Hex. It's to the Hexicans. There's a lot of Hexicans in our community.
Exactly right, and it is a community coin. we're not gonna like have any sort of pre-allocation, any controls, any admin keys, anyways. So as pure crypto as you can possibly imagine is
Can we
Xhex.
raise billions from the community?
No, no, we're gonna say
Can we
Trillion.
buy the world's
Trillion.
next biggest diamond with those money?
dude, I want to buy a planet. Can I buy a planet? My ego is too large.
This is your opportunity.
Dude, we should definitely have a sacrifice uh phase, some of a sort, so
Just
that
follow the tradition.
we need a planet. Like let's stop with this blockchain nonsense. Let's just get the planet, and like start our own solar system.
What about the Zen? What about the Zen movie? What about that? I'm waiting on that.
Zen movie.
There's no waiting for anything. There's just get a shovel and start digging and do stuff. You want a movie? You create the movie.
Exactly. No waiting, no staking, no lockups, no admin keys, no founders, just pure crypto owned by the community. And if community decides to give this token value, it will have value. My goal in the whole this shebang is to bring the attention of decentralized exchanges and everybody I know to this fact, and create market making opportunities for everyone so that people can actually get some sort of value. It will not replace the money that people have lost with Xhex. It will not undo what happened, but at least it will give people a chance to get free coins on X1, which is probably going to be the fastest EVM ever created, powered by the artificial intelligence engine. So we have a lot of good narratives. We have a lot of good narratives coming. We have a lot of smart people helping us to bring it into being. We have an awesome community, and during our creation process, we always try to find ways to give more coins to people without any sort of gotchas and keys and any sort of staking and lockups. We just want to give those things out so that people can be participants, because we plan to grow this community and make it large. We want to have the largest chain, the fastest chain, and have most fun doing it. And we have the willpower and the vision to execute. Xhex.
Yeah, I think that's what people are wondering also. Like, why are we doing this, and why are we doing it now?
I mean, why are we doing this? I mean, like, let's talk a little bit about Elon Musk for a sec. So Elon Musk was a wealthy dude who just decided to build another car. Now, one could actually say that, well, he just wants to vamp the car industry or whatever, take everybody's customers. In reality, all of this is just healthy competition, just like in car industry. In the crypto financial industry, we have healthy competition and best products win. We are working to create best products possible. We want to win, and we want to market those products to the people out there. Richard has given us a gift, unfortunately, at the cost of the community, to have a reason to give people something that people can own, and show the contrast between how things were in Xhex and how things should be on X1 and Xhex. And again, this isn't about saying that we're particularly better, or at least our positioning is very, very simple. The market will decide who is better, and we're putting our effort and our energy and our creative thinking into making better products. And Xhex obviously is just this one venue, and I always thought fondly of Hexicans. They were the first community that brought me up to speak on YouTube. I never been a YouTuber before, so I was technically born in Hexicon. My persona was. I mean, like, clearly people didn't like me launching Zen, but it is actually true that it was Hexicans who asked for Zen to be created, and then it was mostly Hexicans who asked for an L1. And given that I had the means and opportunity and the know-how, I just decided to go ahead and do it. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to represent the will of the people and interest of the people. We want everybody to benefit. This technology and where we find ourselves today is emerging. There's a lot of value in cryptocurrencies, emerging value. Bitcoin is rallying as we speak. It's hitting 68,000. Not in a million years, I thought, actually, since the launch of ETF, we would create so much value in the cryptocurrency markets. I didn't think Pepe would go 1,000x from from inception or whatnot. And the meme season is here. Xhex would make an amazing meme. I think a lot of people will enjoy in participating. It's a free coin. And also, ultimately, we're not going to stop at Xhex. We're going to look at other communities out there, and we're going to try to find ways to give airdrops to people so that we can be larger and more powerful together as a community. We plan to grow, and of course, there's negative connotations like vampire attacks and all that bullshit. But all it is just healthy competition. All you need to do is build a better product. You need to do better marketing, and you will bring value. And I think we all deserve to have value. And I think if we're all in this together and putting our heads together and getting something amazing out there on the roadmap is a benefit for all.
Let's fucking hash.
Let's fucking hash. Let's fucking hash. So we talked a little bit about what is Xhex or Xhex, and we're working on the contract right now. This will be available on the X1 testnet. So it will be released. It will be a very simple, claimable function for all of those who have. We're going to get into that, but all of those who had either Xhex or PHEX, excluding duplicates, might be some other simple adjustments. But we also want a lot of feedback. There's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions about this, what's going on. So this goes to hexicans, hex holders. So they should be the ones who will have their say if they think it's going to be something of value for them.
Then, so before we jump into questions, don't we have a friend who has like 7 figures in Hex or something like that?
Who are you thinking about now?
Well, we're not gonna say his name, but we have a common friend that's put a lot of his wealth into Pulse Chain and Hex.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a good friend of ours.
Do.
We talk to him all the time. Very, very smart dude. Hexican OG. I mean, he actually introduced many of us to Hex a couple of years ago, and so we're definitely connected to the community through that. And even though I am a relative newcomer, it's that particular group of friends that I'm connected to that were Hexicans even before me. So definitely there's a lot of interest in the whole community creation and building on top of the Hex ecosystem. And again, like I always thought that I really don't want to damage the Hex as a project, but given that Richard already did all the hard work, then why not? I mean, why not just launch a coin that actually represents first principles? So anyway, I think we should go to the questions. There's a lot of hands up. There's at least
I think so. So this whole it created this sort of schizophrenic situation, right? Because you have Hex on Ethereum, and then everything was supposed to be copied over to Pulse Chain. So now you have Hex, Xhex, which was the baby of the whole community and culture here. But then you had a representation of it, PHEX, on Pulse Chain. I'm just getting everybody up to speed who hasn't followed this, and it sort of creates this sort of discrepancy in everyone's mind, like where's the value? Is it what's the real Hex? And when we are distributing this token, what are your thoughts on? Should we share some thoughts, just simplified, what we've been thinking in terms of who will be able to claim Xhex?
So everybody who held PHEX and Xhex up to March 9th. So we're doing a snapshot of everybody's wallets and their amounts. What we're trying to decide right now is whether we should add Xhex and PHEX amounts together, or whether it should be an average of, like for example, Xhex plus PHEX divided by 2. We have to see what the community wants to do and act on that. We do want to have some sort of a whale exclusion provision where should Richard decide to pull a fast one and like somehow sneak in a wallet or 2 into the distribution, we want to stop him from laying a claim to this community token, because this token should have no founders and really no whales. I think everybody who were in Xhex should benefit or have held Xhex for a long time. And by the way, like obviously the natural question is what happens to T shares. We will convert T share holders to the token distribution as well. So if you hold in T shares, then you will get the Xhex airdrops too. So in other words, we're converting everything to liquid Xhex.
So Jack, traditionally, like the Xhex contract was like 4,000 lines of code. You said something about being able to simplify it to like 100 lines of code. Is that right?
Yes, and the real answer is that this is not a fork or a clone of Xhex at all. There's no staking, there's no lockups, no admin keys, no T shares. All it is just a very, very simple token that lives on X1. And it will probably have even less than 100 lines of code, maybe like 50, because it doesn't really need to have anything. It just needs to have an oracle that tells the contract to mint coins for you when you interact with it, and that's all there is to it. Now, the centralized exchanges do like those types of projects where it's very, very transparent. The code is simple, and they love giving liquidity and create markets for tokens like that. So I do think that should there be a lot of claims, like let's say that over 100,000 claims, which is a possibility given that both PHEX and EHEX has over 500,000 wallets participating. So even if we get 20% of people claiming, that's very, very likely that those coins will be launched on or transitioned to centralized exchanges for liquidity. We have Zen on KuCoin. KuCoin usually asks for $500,000 to be listed. They listed us for free just because we have a strong community. I think they can list Xhex too. Generally, Xhex has been gated by the centralized exchanges just because of the OA. I have had conversations with Gate.io in terms of listing Pulse and listing Xhex from Pulse Chain, because I have friends that work at Gate, and they kind of like basically said that it doesn't pass the audit, given that there's a lot of close held control by the founder, and that's why it was a no-go. But everything else in the Zen universe is basically trading on the centralized exchanges. We think Coinbase should pick it up, and it is the meme season, so we should really, really just embrace the meme and go with it and make it super simple and bring liquidity to the masses. I mean, and bring the masses to liquidity. That's what we want.
Does everyone have to buy a Rolex?
They don't have to buy Rolex, but if this thing moves,
it's a benefit.
If this thing moves, everybody can get at least 2 Rolexes, maybe later.
What about designer back?
What about like staking your Rolex?
Staking the Rolex. That could be a cool service. Anyway,
no, but listen, I have a friend who has 2, and he's trying to move them, but nobody's buying these stupid things, right? So what if like you allow some sort of real world staking mechanism?
Real world assets introduced to X1 through the meme coin Xhex and Rolex.
Rolex staking service for
should be a priority.
All right. So let's go to the hands. So you choose the next speaker, please.
Okay, we have Zen Girl, and then we go to IV. How you doing, Zen Girl? What's up, baby?
Hi, I have a question for Jack.
Wait. Before you ask a question, can I ask you what did you have for breakfast?
An orange.
Okay.
And water, right? And water.
Water and coffee.
Amazing.
Right.
Thank you.
Recipe.
Now you forgot. I forgot what I was going to ask. Okay. Why represent something that carries a negative, like the name Xhex? There's a negativity around that name just because of the government and all the stuff that's happening right now. So why put that name and you represent it? Why?
Well, because I'm not really representing it personally. I think it's a community token, and it's represented by the community. I'm just an instrument of creation. So a lot of people don't have a voice, and I want to give them a voice to speak. I think a lot of Hexicans love Xhex. I think it does have marketing potential. And yes, maybe some people out there, don't like it, but I don't think people like really, really hate it. in a particular way. That the centralized exchanges don't list it not because they hate it; it's just a business decision. So knowing that we are actually taking the community or giving community Xhex, and it's fully mimified version of Xhex that has none of its features that were onboarding mechanisms. I think it's going to be a good thing. And if we can bring positivity to Xhex, I mean, hey, that's a win for everybody, because like you can't like escape it. There's a lot of people who are still staked, and they have history with Xhex. And yes, I mean, Richard made a mistake, and maybe it was an honest mistake. Maybe it was malicious. I mean, the time will tell, and the time will be the judge. But in this particular case, I think we can turn it into something positive.
No founder control,
Yes.
fairly distributed. People can get it, they can claim it, they can practice the genuity on X1.
You know what's crazy is I don't know obviously there's a couple hands, but I posted up in the nest. I was just kind of going through some old Scooby-Doo archives, and I found Scooby and Shaggy. They were kind of like getting brought into some type of hex thing, and it's like, don't worry, it's just the hex girls. It's definitely fun. If you guys haven't seen it, it's up in the nest. But they're gonna put a spell on you, so be careful. We got the X hex, so it's like it's protection.
Ivy, let's go to you. How you doing?
Yeah, Jack. Hello, everybody.
Hello,
My
Julia.
my question is about a timeline of what we are looking at for launching this Xhex.
So timeline. So currently, we're obviously working on the contracts, and we're working with some OG hexagons to get the list of the addresses so that we can be accurate in the minting process. We're also looking and working towards a formula to integrate p-hex and e-hex together, so that's actually fair. There was a question on whether the whales should be excluded, so we need to be careful in the decision making on how to make it more interesting, more fair too. And once we have the contract ready, we will launch it on X1 testnet, and that network has been up and going for about 3 months now. And there's about 200 validators, and I think the read-only validators we have up to 800 or so. So it's a pretty large network. It's very fast. It's thoroughly tested, and so the mint process is going to be test first, so test mint, and then once we see that everything works well, we will ultimately launch the mainnet that integrates a lot of other features that we want, which should happen sometime like relatively soon. And I can't really speak on how soon it is because I simply don't know. But when it comes to mainnet, this is where the basically the minting process will continue. All of the hexagons and all of the people who have had hex in their wallets will also get a little bit of XN, which is the gas token. It's just the airdrop that will allow people to mint. So from the get-go, you get the enjoy and see how fast X1 is and how it works, and you will have XN in your wallet too. So I think that's really good.
Let's go to Execute. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very good.
Yeah, I used to be in the OG Hexagon Cabal group, and I still get every now and then one of my buddies that's still in there. He'll message me like a screenshot or something, but he pretty much told me a week ago they started talking about the new whale wallets that are coming out, and that's kind of what front ran that big sell wall. So the next 3 months, there's roughly 7 billion hex coming out on both chains. That's why there's probably those early sellers. Those guys were selling. And he messaged me kind of before they were doing it all. And I was like, I don't really care about hex on either chain because I kind of just wrote all that stuff off. I'm just letting it ride. And yeah, but then I seen the Richard tweet come out and I was just like, I don't know. I kind of got a little bit upset. I don't care if the whales want to dump, but the fact that the founder's still in that cabal group and he's listening to those guys, and he's kind of, I don't know. It's just disgusting in my opinion. And just talking about with some of the OG guys I'm still talking to them in their tweets and this and that, and they were talking about like the community chose which one. In my opinion, they didn't. I think it was still Richard, because the narrative of Hex and Pulse Chain back in the day when they first started talking about it was bridging in the asset. And there's even developers on Pulse Chain right now that are trying to develop something where you can take your EHEX and you could stake it on the Pulse Chain side. That way you don't have to pay the Ethereum fees. But those guys kind of just like I don't know if they're still building it, but they kind of just, they're pissed off and they're like, why are we even building on this chain anymore? And I kind of get where they're coming from, because every time somebody builds something cool, it's either completely useless and never gets used, or Richard just kind of doesn't talk about it and kills it. But yeah, the fact that he introduced the hex to hex farm on the V1, PulseX, whatever you want to call it, the farm, to get their incentive token, he introduced it for a day, which was supposed to help the hex to hex ratio kind of peg at one certain price, depending on how big the liquidity is on each side. And he had it up there for a day, and he completely rugged it the next day. And then he also got the influencers to invite in the Pepe guys. And then he listed the Pepe farm up there for a day. A bunch of people from Ethereum bridged in Pepe, and then the very next day he rugged it. And it's just like the whole narrative of bringing stuff in to throw it into the farm to get incentive to do this and to do that, and then you just get rugged the next day. And there's no voting. Back on testnet for Pulse Chain, PulseX, there was voting, so you could vote for your what you wanted to be listed in the farms, and you could list, like, you could vote like how long, how much incentive token, yada yada yada. And he kind of just rugged that whole thing. He got rid of most of the things on PulseX. There's not even limit orders. We had limit orders on V2B of testnet on PulseX.
So execute.
All
Let me cut you off. When did you see the light of Zen?
I'm a day one Zen person.
And you're just fully with Zen versus Hex now, yeah.
I just get behind the founder. You know what I mean? Like, I'll put money into any ecosystem that has a good founder. Richard was a good founder. That's why I put, like, I'm a day one Hexkin. I never sold the bag. I just kind of let it ride. I tweeted it out the other day of like what that portfolio looked like. At the top, my account was worth almost I think it was 3.1 million, and now it's worth $10,000 on eHex. And I just let it ride. Like, I don't need the money. I've had money for a while, so it's just like I want to be the good person that's gonna, like, me selling is me just taking if I need money. Keep staking and doing whatever else, and if I need 10 grand, then I just take 10 grand and sell 10 grand. I don't need a stupid amount of money to live off. And but yeah, it's that's my whole spiel on it. I have a question for Jack. Jack, do you have a block explorer for the Zen blocks?
We do not have. Actually, there's a third party block explorer. I think 3CDOS built it. So join the Zen blocks group and then just ask for explorer. He has the lookup for all the blocks there.
I think Block Explorer is super important. Sorry, I interrupt, because when the time comes to taxes, it's super important to make it usable for people, because it's a really hell when it's not usable. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have the Block Scout Explorer on X1, and the Zen blocks is getting integrated into that. So Block Scout will actually have the whole history imported into it.
You gonna be mining some blocks there, execute? Let's fucking hash.
I want to do some analysis on it, so I want to check it out. And I was looking everywhere, and I'm like, I can't find the Block Explorer anywhere.
Yeah, it's on Tree Cities West's GitHub, homie. You can just plug in.
All right, cool.
Oh, you had a question?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my question is like what I mean, what did you guys think would people do when, like, you get presented with X1? I mean, to me, it's almost like a wise move on Richard's part.
I mean, Hex has a lot of good people and a great community in many aspects, to be honest. We want the presence of hexagons on X1 with a meme that they can identify with. The value of Hex is in the community, like 100%. Their representation on X1 should be just that, in our opinion, without any worries about some founder that will tweet and wrecked at any time. It's not what crypto is supposed to be. It's supposed to be about self-custody. It's supposed to be about economic energy that's fairly distributed among a large community, where and I think these questions are central. I mean, these are the first principles that Zen is based upon. And now, obviously, we are creating infrastructures 100 times a million more complicated than just releasing an immutable contract like Zen is with 400 lines of code. So of course, like centralization that we have now is way more than you would have if you just release a token. But when it comes to Hex, we want to have an option for people, a lifeboat, if nothing else.
Live in dark, baby.
Whole community
Live in
that
dark.
shouldn't just go to waste. I mean, they have years of interactions and a lot of knowledge and all of that. It should have a place on X1 as well. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't know what you guys think of it.
Hell yeah, as Rome says. Hell yeah.
I think it's a good investment for some of those guys, because a lot of the hexagons right now, they're either being blocked or just completely banned from the rest of the ecosystem. So they're starting to wake up and see, like, I've been kind of tweet storming them, being like, guys, you do know that we're already 500 days into the bull market and your chain hasn't done anything. It's completely limp dick this whole time, and everybody else is making money and you're not. And every time it pumps like 20%, they're like hooting and hollering. I'm just like, that's nothing. Like, you barely got your money back over 5 years, which is pretty disgusting in crypto. But I think some of them, like, they will come over here and play, and if the blockchain is better, they're definitely going to use it, I would say. I mean, every ecosystem needs a faster blockchain, and one that's fully decentralized, that's not going to turn off tomorrow, or has some overlord with a switch that can flick any tweet or do anything on the chain, and the chain just follows whatever the leader wants.
Yeah, I think decentralization is definitely at the front and center of what we're trying to build. We always stood behind the first principles, and we wanted the community to own most of the things out there. And that isn't actually, like, we talk about fairness a lot, and I wanted to speak quickly what fairness really is. A lot of people think that when things are fair, it doesn't mean there's any value, and there's no speculation. There's definitely speculation. There's definitely value, because as the crypto market gets heated up, the value just flows into all the projects. I mean, like, pretty much everywhere. And I think when it comes to fairness, all in my book, this is actually very, very simple. Just don't lie about your project, or if you're changing your mind, you need to provide people with an appropriate exit somehow. So, like, for example, the transfer or a burn of Xhex on Ethereum and then the mint of Phex on Pulse chain could have actually saved everybody, and there didn't need to be a dramatic loss like that. And it's really, really sad that it takes years to build reputation. And I think Richard has done a lot of good work with his videos, and I think he inspired a lot of people. Definitely inspired me to some point, in my life a couple of years ago. And so, but I always been told that it takes years to build a reputation, but 5 minutes to ruin it. And it's certainly true in this case, and it's really unfortunate that it happened.
Let's go to Rome.
Yo, coming in hot. Thank you, guys.
Rome,
Let
how you
that
doing,
shit out.
buddy?
Let that shit out.
I feel good, my brother. Minding my blocks, minding my business. I'm so grateful. I stretched. I leaned in. I believed in something greater. Although my homie says it's not necessary, nor is it required. But with me, everything starts with a belief. And I have to believe in myself first. But nah, Jack, yo, you're the man, the marketer of fucking year, dude. The marketer of the year, Zensu, the crew. I love it. But I like what you stand for. I like what you stand for. Um, yeah, he fumbled the ball, and you're picking it back up, and we're gonna take it home, bitches. We're
Yeah,
taking it home. Go ahead.
we're taking it home, and I think, I mean, like, uh, I do have a lot of goodwill from the people, obviously, but I want to stress to people that I'm not just this fluffy, lovable person. I do want to win. I'm very hungry. I will go after every community and I will bring it to X1. Uh, it's just Hex happens to be a place to go first, just because Richard has given us this opportunity to execute on, and unfortunately, it happened with the fact that a lot of people have lost money. But we're not gonna stop with Hacks. We're gonna continue to grow, and we will bring the rest of the crypto into the fold into X1, because I think we're building the best product possible. We're definitely trying to do it. We may or may not be successful, but there's no if. There's only when, and we're putting all of our mental energy and our creativity into this project. So we are predators and alpha predators in the market space, and this is how we always felt. And we want to practice it. And so, but it doesn't mean that we have to take people's money and run away with it, or do some idiotic things and have your crypto just dump and have no recourse. We believe in the community. I think having a strong community is probably the most important thing you can have in crypto. Crypto has been probably an instrument of people connections, or people strengthening of connections across the world, across internet, and across the web, everywhere. And it is something unique. There's a lot of motivated people out there behind this, and there will be more in the future. So I'm very psyched and pumped to look ahead and what we can build.
Now, yeah, my question was, you mentioned airdrops. You mentioned this is not the only community that's gonna get the airdrop. You also know that today they dropped runes to everybody on Bitcoin, which was very successful for a lot of people. Is that where the direction on where you plan on taking this?
Yes, I mean, like, obviously, so I got a couple of rune stones myself, because I was dabbling with ordinals for a while now, and that was really good. I think there is simple airdrops where it's just stuff just shows up on in your wallet, and this is definitely one of the ways to do it. But I think we can take a more proactive approach, where we go into the communities and we basically say that, hey, we have something for you guys, and this is what we can do, and this is the level of engagement that we expect. Establish a relationship first, and then do things like airdrops and mints, and various game theory will be presented to those communities. So it's not going to be like, okay, if you hold Shiba, you're going to get ton of XN or anything like that. I think it will be more targeted and more specific towards communities, so that we can actually establish the relationship with those people, not just basically flood them with useless tokens.
It's different this time. You can't just say that you're an L1 that's fast and cheap and try to make everyone convinced to come to your chain. You have to network hack. You have to be a fluffy alpha predator. Let's get some more Hexicans up here. I want to hear what they say. Dragon Hex,
Yeah,
how you doing?
Hello, guys. Fine, and you? I have a question for Mr. Jack. Congrats for what are you doing. And my question is this: some of us in the Hex community, we have HSIs. Those are like Hex stakes that are tradable as an NFTs, as an NFT. So, for example, when the fork of Ethereum happened, we got our NFT copies of those stakes of Hex. I don't know if when your chain comes alive, are we going to have also those kind of NFT stakes as a copy, or only the liquid and the normal one?
Is
That's
that
my question.
I can
is that
I can chime in on this. This is it's a hedge run contract. and it's a consolidated stake, and it's very hard. Well, it's not very hard. You just have to copy another contract and kind of divvy up. It'd be a lot of work to figure the math out on that.
Well,
I wouldn't say that the juice is worth the squeeze, but yeah.
so I know Alex, and I spoke with him every once in a while in the past. So if he can assist with scraping of the data on chain, then there's no reason why it shouldn't happen. Because I mean, it is real hacks too. I play with Hedron myself and Icosa too. I think it's a good project, and I think definitely those people were affected, and I think everybody who is affected by the Richard's positioning to date should get the benefit of Xhex.
Yeah, man, that would be great if you can have contact with Alex. That would be awesome. Thank you for the response.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Dragon X. We have Ricardo, Shadow Soul, IV, and then we'll go to Al, Athena.
So while everybody is silent, I'm going to
Hello?
ask a dumb question. Oh, sorry.
Ricardo, we get you next. Let's go to IV.
Okay, sorry for interrupting. I have a dumb question regarding to Zen that I minted last year. So, what is the utility and how it will be applied if it's gonna be?
So Zen was the first project we launched. It's the first principal coin. In terms of the utility and the functionality, obviously it has the 8-year inflation run rate with disinflationary force pushing on it pretty much every day. So it is modeled after Bitcoin, and we're using it on 12 different EVM chains. And we want to use it as an onboarding token for people to get into X1. So in other words, you'll have an option to burn it, and there will be burn auctions that we call moon parties, where if you're a Zen holder, you will be able to compete in an auction for the XN credit on X1 mainnet. That is one way that you can participate with Zen. So basically, you burn it, you use this as the currency to convert and move into X1 into XN token if you want. And obviously, X1 is going to be our flagship. It has a lot of very, very interesting narratives, such as proof of work, proof of stake, delegated proof of stake, distributed compute, GPU usage, AI engine that runs the consensus. So I think in this bull market, we're definitely positioned for success. So far, the chain has been tested very, very thoroughly. We're doing 4 million transactions daily, and the chain is holding up just great. So I think Zen on all those chains will be used as currency to get into XN and to get into X1 as a product. And I think this product will kick ass in the market. This bull market. Obviously, we're targeting this cycle for sure.
Hope that answers your question, Ivy. There's a lot going on with Zen. We've been working on it for a very long time now. It's created a huge community. Ricardo, let's go to you.
Yeah, just a few quick questions to Jack. Jack, so when we will have the opportunity to drop it to our accounts, the XN, or we need to claim it to get it?
In terms of Xhex, all of the wallets that have been in Hex one way or the other, whether it's T-shares or just Liquid or whatnot, they will all get an airdrop of XN so that you can use it to claim your Xhex on the chain, and that's how you get your hands on the token.
There is a time for that, or you will give like 30 days to people, or whatever time?
We will obviously announce it, and there will be more spaces and more conversations, possibly more videos and community engagement for sure. There's a Telegram group that has almost 1,000 people right now, so we'll be communicating there as well.
Okay. Can I ask you a question about Zen and records or no? About Zen and records. Because I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, that everyone that was interacting with Zen, especially on Ethereum for mint and claim, will be able to receive an Xen airdrop. That is true or not?
That is true to an extent. So every product that we have ever launched from the Fair Crypto Foundation will get some sort of Xen airdrop. So, but obviously the major ways to get Xen on X1 is going to be moon parties with Zenburn auctions, plus the liquid staking where you can stake your Ethereum. And this is one of the safest ways to participate because it's self-custodial. You stake your Ethereum and you will actually get your Ethereum yield, about 3 or 4%, plus XN yield as well. So that will happen on Ethereum as well as other chains that we're participating. So we call it liquid staking, where you stake your native coins, you get your yield, and you also get a liquid staking token that you can trade. So it's similar to Lido.
Okay, this is my last question. When Mainnet launch, how can I swap the coins? Are you planning to fork an Uniswap? Because that is a top secret one. I don't know.
So Uniswap V3 is now open source, and we're planning to launch it on X1 as the main DEX. It's going to be not an issue. We worked with it before. That is one way to do DEX on the X1. At the same time, we're obviously lining up the centralized exchanges to provide liquidity and market value for XN, so that should you, for example, not want to participate and move your tokens across the bridge, because sometimes bridges are either slow or expensive, you could go, for example, to Coinbase, swap your XN for ETH, and then receive your ETH on the Ethereum network, and it will be cheaper for you.
Are you planning to have the MetaMask as well? Do you know the MetaMask had a swap? Are you planning to have that like AVAX or BNB or no on X1?
We have a lot of plans, and I don't want to reveal all the plans right now.
Okay.
What the priority is. So, but definitely, if community wants something, we will work hard to make it happen.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you.
There was one thing that we discussed as well. It's the claim window of Xhex. Like, how long should that be? Should it be like indefinitely, or should it be like a 6-month or a 3-month window? Please give us your thoughts on that. There's pros and cons, of course, with
I would say definitely put a window on it, because the amount of wallets that Richard has. So I don't know if you guys are around for the
369 days. 369 days
to possibly physically claim all of his wallets.
5 days and 55 minutes with 5 seconds. 5.
Just because if it does
go on, execute.
If it does gain some adoption, at any point, if there's no claim phase, Richard can just come in and siphon the liquidity from all the recycled addresses. And people don't understand, but there's one website called Graph.rocks. It's
he'll move on. He'll move on to X1 though. Execute. He'll move on to X1, dog.
No.
Give him as much time as we.
No, he'll just pull it and bring it back to Pulse Chain. It's what he did with Uniswap and every other fork or every other airdrop that somebody gave him. So yeah, every Ethereum that he put into the adoption amplifier, there was a referral code too. So if you put in 1 ETH, let's say at the best ratio, which is like 1 ETH to like 1 to 2 million hex you got. So let's say, I'm just round numbers, he got 1 million for 1 ETH back then. But then if he referred himself or a friend, that person, depending on when they did the referral address, got 250,000 hex for free, which is a quarter technically, right, for every ETH. So for every ETH that he recycled, there's another quarter sitting in another address that's very, very hard to find unless you use the technical websites that are built for it. And to find those, it's like daughter sister addresses. That's what we used to call them. It's very, very hard to find those addresses. That's why I would just say it's kind of.
Did you disappear, execute?
Yeah, it looks like he disappeared. But anyway, I think we'll work with the community to get the definitive list of the community members' wallets, so that we actually give the tokens to the community members, not Richard.
Sorry, I got a call. Did I get muted?
Yeah, you got muted for a sec.
Yeah,
And,
we lost you there.
yeah, I was just gonna say, execute. Appreciate your help, and definitely let's talk offline or online with the DM, and we'll discuss how to best do it.
Yep.
So Jack, I guess question about the X1. So being that Richard owns like a large part of Pulse, and maybe he may or may not have PZen, do you think that he could potentially become a whale? If you were to burn all of his PZen for X1, is that still in the cards?
PZen. So we'll have to see. I mean, like generally, you can't just straight burn Zen and get a large allocation for X1 because you need to participate in an auction, and there will be many auctions over time, continuous auctions actually, and so that you have to actually participate in every one, and we will know who is the largest holder that's cornering every auction and always winning. So we'll be able to see and potentially do something about it if that's what it comes to be. So we'll just have to see. There's other ways to do it that I don't want to discuss just yet, but we have some plans to make it fair.
Someone suggested don't exclude the OA. Keep the OA, but have a burn of Zen for it, or a burn of XM.
I thought about it for just a second. I definitely saw that message. Somebody said that why not just keep the OA and then have like a scheduled burn. I think those type of shenanigans is kind of like takes away from the purity of the contract and what crypto is. And I think we will just have better traction with decentralized exchanges to trade it without any sort of whimsical control of the contract. Because I mean, like, of course you can make it more distributed and decentralized in a way that there's no admin keys and anybody can burn the particular schedule, but it's kind of like a gimmick. I think it's just much better basically to say that this is the story behind this meme, this is the community, and this is where the strength is, and it's not going to be like some sort of smoke and mirrors about supply appearing or disappearing. I think it's just gonna be much better if it's simpler.
Keep it simple, stupid. Roger Pulse, welcome. And then we go to Ray. Roger Pulse, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me now or not?
Yes.
No. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the question was, could you say could you say something a little bit more about how these moon auctions would work?
Yeah, absolutely. So moon parties, moon auctions, we call them moon parties, happens on the full moon every month. And the way it works is that you will be able to put in your Zen, whether you minted it or bought it or somebody gave it to you. You can deposit your Zen into an auction, and you can do it daily all the way up to the last day. You will compete for a preset amount of X1, XN allocation. And based on the pie chart of the distribution of who put how much Zen, this Zen gets burned, and you get credit points that will convert to XN on the mainnet on X1. And you have to repeat that every month. And the reason why it's every month is because obviously there's more Zen coming to the market because it's inflationary and more people mint based on the gas conditions. Last week, for example, nobody could mint because the gas was too expensive. It was like $3,000 or $4,000 to mint your 128 VMUs. So a lot of Zen just never got minted and got destroyed with the penalties, which is actually good for the value of Zen. That's why it's rallied. I think it went from 6 zeros in 3 to 6 zeros in 8. So the tables turned on the speculators who actually been buying Zen. And so you have an option, obviously, to participate in one or many auctions. And based on your level of interest and the level of participation, you can either be I mean, like, mostly we want it to be fair. Like, we don't want the single adders to win everything, because if there is enough participants and they're pledging their Zen for burn, then the allocation gets split among the burners every 30 days.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. But is there a possibility that we might lose our Zen when we're taking part in this auction, but we fail?
Well, with technology, there's always some chance of.
No, I don't mean that. But yeah, I don't mean the remote chance. But I mean, normally we would lose an auction. We wouldn't expect to lose our Zen.
No, it's like this. You're not gonna get a refund if you're playing. So, like, in other words, let's say that you have 1 million Zen and you're coming in with that, and you say, okay, for this auction, you're basically committing 1 million Zen.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody else comes, and there's only 2 people in the auction, and they put 2 million because they want to have 2/3 of an auction. So at the end of an auction, you get 1/3, they get 2/3. So that's fair. And you have to wait until the end to see what's happening. There will be a dashboard that will show who is playing and how much Zen is being burned. But once you commit, you commit. So basically, you cannot commit more than you should. And neither should you commit billions of Zen, because there will be many auctions and many chances to win. And the winning is not binary. You always get a percentage of the pie chart, right? So it's very, very obvious game.
Okay, that's great. Thanks.
Yeah. All right.
This is being highly iterated, FYI, back and forth right now. So exact details are to be decided of how the auctions work.
Okay, Yulia wants to go ahead. Go ahead, Yulia.
If it's for me, I'm not Yulia, but anyway. Anyway, yeah. I was just want to clarify. So basically, when you bet your Zen in this auction, you take a percentage of some other token of your X layer 1, right?
Right. Well, I mean, so you put the deposit, and the percentage is decided at the end once the auction is over.
Yeah, let's go to. Do we have Ray? How you doing, Ray?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. Okay, I have a few questions. The first one is, Jack mentioned the fact that there is an option of burning your Zen to get the X. Is it the X1 token?
XN, yeah, that's correct. XN is the native gas token of X1.
All right. Okay, so I get that option. So what is the other option? So because that's an option. So what other option is there with regards to the XN token? XN?
There will be many options. Zen NFTs will get certain allocation as well, so you'll be able to burn your Zen NFTs. There are other tokens like BMPX and various others, both on Ethereum and Bitcoin blockchains. There's liquid staking that will generate XN yield on the Ethereum side, similar to how Lido works and similar to how EigenLayer works. And there's also liquid restaking. So once you commit or deposit your native Ethereum, you can either lock it up for a short amount of time or a longer period of time, and you will get an amplifier for the yield. Plus, you're going to get the tradable liquid staking token that you can also do things with and get even more yield. So there will be many ways and many roads towards X1, and it will definitely attract a lot.
Okay. All right. I get that. What I meant was in specific to the XN, the one that we minted. So there's the option of participating in the moon parties. So my question is holding the XN token an option as well? And I mean, is there a benefit to not participate? If for somebody who doesn't participate, to understand what are they looking at? Is there benefit to just holding the XN, or you have to get into the moon parties to benefit? That's the part I want to understand.
Okay.
No, the whole game theory of what we're doing here is we have included a burn function in the Zen contract.
Mhm.
And the whole game theory here is you can, it depends on what you want. Like either you hold Zen, which is the most amazing cryptocurrency ever invented, or you burn it for infrastructure, which is X1. So a lot of people are probably going to burn for X1, which means if you're just holding Zen, that value is probably going to increase because the supply is being burnt. So it depends on what you want to hold in the long term. You want to hold Zen as a currency. It's a community token. It has its story. It has based on first principles. It's based on values. It's not going to go away. It's going to be amplified as a currency by the birth and the acceleration of X1 as a chain. So you can also just keep your Zen. I know a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but I know some people who've been around a long time who are not particularly interested in infrastructure, but love Zen and the purity of it. So they're just going to keep Zen.
Okay, thank you very much. My last question is, I know this might.
Can I ask a question real quick? Jack mentioned penalties when he was talking, and to me, like they are a beautiful instrument. I was one of those people last week that couldn't claim, and it was my precious Apex, and
tears, man, tears.
I mean, I've been crying in Crypto Bro's shoulder for 3 weeks now. So the penalty thing seems like, yeah, I've loved it for a long time, and yeah, like I love how Crypto Bro has formed his meme concept around this whole tiers, with the penalties kind of being the link to some sort of transfer value onto X1, and yeah, like I guess we're gonna be able to look up the penalties and see all this information with the Block Explorer coming out.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, well, the penalties we're talking about on Ethereum, definitely all the data is on chain, so we could do something with it. Though I don't want to mention what yet because we don't know exactly how it's going to play out.
Beautiful.
Ray, did you have another question?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. My last question was, for people who are interested in the. I mean, we're all interested, but for someone who's interested in projects building on the X1 chain, what's the best place to find projects that are building on the chain?
Well, that would be Zen.net network. I think we're linking all the projects there, and there's various other community member websites like Zen, Crypto.io, and obviously join our Telegram group because a lot of people are talking about it up there too.
Okay, and lastly, any projections on when the chain is launching? I know, is it Q1, end of Q1, Q2,
2024?
Q3? Oh, 2024, definitely. All right. No,
yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Wait, really? Or no?
Yeah. So let's go to Joseph. I'll want to speak for a long time, and then I want to hear Zenith is in the house. I hope you'll ask your question as well.
Oh, hey guys.
Joseph, how you doing?
Hey. Jack or Zentu, like either of you. So it seems like there are multiple ways to get into XN. Which everyone understands is the gas token of the proof of stake side of X1. So question I have is the following. So is the supply of XN still set at 1 billion, or is there a plan to make it slightly inflationary? And if inflationary, does it mean that the moon parties where people can burn Zen or Zen NFTs and subsequent XN rewards will be continuous and perpetual? Or if it's this disinflationary, does it mean that there'll be a specific given supply to each auction and specific number of auctions?
Specific supply to each auction probably will be diminishing also, so that it's the early birds get a better deal.
So that basically means right at the get-go, you'll say, okay, we'll start it with auction 1, and there's gonna be whatever 100 million, and it's gonna run for, I don't know, 24 months, and at the last one, it's gonna be only 1 million or something of that sort.
It may be longer than 24 months because Zen's inflation is going to go for 7 more years. So possibly longer than that. And we'll obviously get community feedback in terms of what to do in the best possible way. But I think definitely there will be diminishing percentages of XN credits as time goes by.
That's really useful information. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
For those of you who don't know, Joseph has been a core contributor to the community. He has a site called Zen.pub, which has a lot of useful data of our whole ecosystem. Al, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. I wanted to ask about hi. I wanted to ask about Maxi. Hello, Maxi. Maxi is a mega Xhex stake, and I was wondering if people who hold Maxi will get also Xhex.
I think we want everybody to get the Xhex allocation airdrop. We just need to work with the community to get all the addresses and to get all of the accurate information, done properly so that we can do the right thing.
Yeah, I saw that Tanto Nomini, the founder, contacted you on Twitter, so that should be easy.
Yep.
And what else? What about Richard? How do you think? Why do you think he's moving the OA coins? Is he not afraid, or what's your opinion on this?
Don't have much of an opinion on that. I think he definitely doesn't want to move the bull market. I mean, doesn't want to miss the bull market. And also at the same time, if the lawsuit, grabs them by the balls harder, at least if Ethereum doubles, he'll have twice as much money to fight. So maybe that is the plan, but I'm not really certain.
My opinion is that it's the technical complexity of X1.
So you think he's afraid of it, and he wants to build a better pulse chain?
I don't think fear plays a part here. I just think he understands that it's better, and then that's it.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's the case. I mean, like it is what it is. I think he's doing what he always wanted to do, is to make a lot of money for the money's sake, and it is unfortunate that he has disregarded the blood and bones of the community that actually built the whole project. So it is unfortunate.
But that gave us you.
You know how it is in the Matrix. There's Neo and Agent Smith, and Neo is and Agent Smith is like the opposite of. So in all of the universes, there are always forces that compete and reflect each other. So I'm not quite certain if I am a reflection of Richard in an opposite direction, but certainly.
Well, in some universes, right? In some dimensions, you are.
Yeah, but I mean, he has given us an opportunity to engage with the community, and we're very, very thankful. And I mean, it is unfortunate that it's the circumstances that giving us this chance, but we're just trying to make the best of it.
In the movie's Matrix 4. So if you're Neo, right? So if you're Neo in that situation in this movie, right? And in Matrix 4, like where he says, "Hey, listen, we're gonna make you all Neos." So are you making us Neos so you can fight against the agents?
I think the right answer here is that we're all Satoshi.
So Satoshi is Neo.
This question is for Safarius Prime.
All right.
What was born in the summer? Can you clarify this to the Xenian people? They don't believe Vitalik's practicing with what was born. They don't believe you invented it. I don't know. Can you clarify to the people? Because they're calling me, they drink the Kool-Aid, and I'm like, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I asked you a question, and you answered, yes, that was my invention.
They call you the OG of my shed. You're the OG.
What exactly did the Safarius Prime create?
So to be fair, I am not like that. Like I haven't created the cryptocurrencies. I haven't created the blockchains. I haven't created the AI engines, but I am a system integrator. This what was my job at Google. I took what worked, I put it together. I created this, soup of functionality that worked really well, better than before. And this is what I continue to do. So I think you're referring to the LLM code verification and analysis of the Solidity contracts on chain. I think Vitalik is very excited about this possibility. To be fair, I haven't spoken to Vitalik about it at all, but I think what we're going to do on our chain, on X1, is we will have an LLM built in within every validator that will validate and verify and possibly alert the developers and the users of the contract if there are any bugs within the contract, so that your money can be safer. And so I think AI and blockchains, they're converging together. Vitalik is definitely keen on with an understanding that this is the future. That's why he made that tweet about what he's excited about, which is specifically code verification with AI. I have had that idea. I don't know if it was prior to Vitalik or after him, but we're definitely thinking about the same thing. And if we can build something that's open source that actually works for the global Ethereum ecosystem, then I think the whole ecosystem will win. So I'm definitely excited about implementing it.
So the question is, did you create it already? Are you in the development of creating it? Is it in R&D? Like how long far is that particular protocol / AI?
So the models for the Solidity code verification already been done. They're open source models. They existed for at least 18 months. I've been using them myself personally. It's about integrating the models into the blockchain. That's where the kind of like the innovation is. It's kind of like Elon Musk and cars and putting electric engine and batteries into the car and making cars better. So we're trying to make blockchains better by integrating it with the AI engines that can verify your Solidity code.
Did you create the models?
I did not create the models. Models created by there were Facebook open source models that were released. Various other projects there's like at least 5 large projects that are working. So they're giving you this like kind of like plain vanilla models that you can fine tune later based on other data sets. So I've been working with fine tuning and making models work better for this specific purpose. But like it isn't like necessarily my invention. The transformers technology has been invented at Google by the people that I actually know. And once I read their paper, I kind of like understood that this is going to be the future. So I'm able to communicate with those guys, and I kind of like know what's coming, and that's why I'm able to position for the blockchain in the way that we're positioning now. So that's where the value is, I believe. It's not necessarily the creation itself, but more like integration.
Is that Schrodinger's cat? Is that Schrodinger's cat, sir?
Yeah, and he's alive as fuck.
Schrodinger's cat is experiencing Heisenberg's uncertainty right now, so we'll see what happens.
With these models, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Let's go to Blobo. We'll get back to you, Mask.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say thanks a lot for doing this. I think it's a really lovely gesture, and it's also a very smart marketing move, obviously. And my question relates to Xenium mining, and as I understand it, there's 2 types of coin or token on X1. One will be proof of stake. That's XN will be used to pay the validators to validate and secure the blockchain. And then we have Xenium blocks, which at the moment is we can merge mine on GPUs, and we get this thing called XNM, and you at the same time you also get superblocks and you also get Zuni. As I understand it, the only difference between those is basically the kind of the difficulty or the rarity, I guess, of how much you get as you mine. But I'm just kind of like not, and that's proof of work because it's GPU mining. I'm just not quite understanding how they fit into the ecosystem. Is it just that you put a proof of work token on there, and if so, does that mean that anybody can make some sort of algorithm to do different types of proof of work tokens? And like, what is it, or is there going to be some sort of use for those three tokens?
Well, so XNM, you will be able to stake and provide liquidity for XNM and XN pair, and also you can get yield from trading, and you should be able to get yield in XN by staking XNM. In terms of Zuni, it's like basically a collectible token that's merge mined, so you're not actually spending any extra GPU cycles to mine it, but it is a collectible, and we just wanted more tokens to be mined at the same time, and it will be tradable on the X1 DEX as well. So, and there's of course super blocks. They're denoted by X.BLK token. Those are even rarer, and obviously we want to have liquidity across all those tokens. So that's going to be really interesting.
Obviously, AI is a big narrative that's coming in hot right now, and that not really naturally blends or overlaps with crypto, but that boundary is being erased more and more and more. So we obviously have been talking about integrating AI in the consensus model of X1, which is very interesting. Also, as Jack has been talking about here, how we can verify code. So it can find malicious stuff. But one thing that's related to Zenium network, because one thing that's every AI engine or community or function really needs is compute. You need a data layer and you need compute. And this is just a happy coincidence that we have this awesome GPU network for mining Zen blocks. So one thing that we really want to have in the roadmap is how to figure out how we can provide AI compute to various AI tasks, and then somehow using XNM as payment for that. So an example is that you as a user could generate, and that's just one example of one use case. You could generate a collection of images using AI rendering, which would use the Zenium network, GPU network, as compute for doing so, and then mint that single or collection NFT on X1, and then obviously paying in XM. So it's a really good asset to have this GPU network in the network. It also serves as a very efficient fiat on ramp. Very efficiently, you can diverge from the normal route as a new user to come into crypto with centralized exchanges, which it's a horrible experience, and it's super slow. It takes days, and you have to give up all your privacy with utility bills and your mother's birthday certificate just to be able to trade crypto. It's a horrible onboarding mechanism into crypto. But instead, you can just, with the click of a button, rent a GPU, and with that same click of a button, deploy a mining script, earn XNM. And as soon as we launch, or in close relation to the launch of X1, XNM will be tradable. So it also serves as a great fiat on ramp.
Okay,
so I think it's a huge asset to have a proof of work aspect to X1.
The best.
That makes a lot of sense. That's really smart. And so will people be able, so that's a great fiat on ramp. And I'm just curious, will people be able to make their own proof of work tokens? Like, will they be able to make different?
Yeah, I mean, like, so that is one thing that we actually thought about, because the way that the proof of work works is actually searches for a sequence of symbols. So you should be able to launch the proof of work tokens at the merge mine for the miners. So basically, the smart contract on X1 will be able to emit and mint the tokens that you're launching by indicating what kind of characters you're looking within the string of the hash. So yeah, I mean, like, you can expand it from the 3 tokens that we have, which is the superblocks, Zuni, and XNM, into anything else you want. And the mining group can actually end up mining multitude of unlimited number of tokens that people can come up with.
So I guess if it searches for a certain string of characters, does that mean that people who have already been mining, if you just say, okay, we're going to search for this string of characters, then it's sort of anyone who has already mined those blocks automatically gets that token?
That is one option. So it depends on the author of the idea. They may say that from this block onward, it's going to be merge,
okay.
Or you can have it retroactively. Retroactive stuff also works because proof of work already been done. So why not? I mean, they can get like the sort of a free airdrop for the work that they've been doing, given that they own those hashes anyway.
Yeah.
But
That's
how
cool.
how would that work actually? Because right now, to submit something, it has to come at the specific difficulty, right? So if you got it at the very low difficulty versus somebody at the very high.
Well, difficulty is merged together. It doesn't really matter. So like the hashes are valid in the past. Like I think, remember, Joseph, you actually looked at like some strings, whether they happened in the past or not. So they definitely did happen at the difficulty that was at the time valid. So that doesn't make the hash invalid. You can just retroactively search for the string and basically say that if the string matches, then you get the token.
So you could basically, anything that is already validated could be used to retrospectively mine for those who own those specific blocks, and everything in the future would be still mineable using the whatever difficulty is at the moment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you could say, from this block on, as you said, at that point, you could launch it fairly from a certain specific block.
Yeah, it depends on what the plan is and what you want to do. So it really depends on that.
But yeah, that's a huge opportunity.
Let's ask one more quick question. Just in terms of the moon parties, so is the X1 chain going to be launched at the end of all of the moon parties, or is it going to be partway through, or
it will be launched and it will happen at the same time, basically. So like, in other words, the chain will be operational, and the moon parties will continue for years to come, where the Zen will be consolidated and burned for people who want to burn Zen. So the game theory here is really, really good, because people who do not care about X1, I mean, I'm sure there's people like that somewhere, and they just care about holding Zen. They get to win by holding Zen and having a commodity token that's valuable because other people want it for X1. And so they get to enjoy the price appreciation on Ethereum and Binance and Polygon and everywhere else. They don't have to burn it, but the burning function and the utility of burn and proof of burn is what should counterbalance the mint of Zen, or creation of Zen, or the inflation of Zen. So that's how we always thought that we release Zen as this cryptocurrency that can be used as currency in the true sense of the word, and then applied to the X1 conversions should people decide to do that.
So how will that work in terms of burning different types of Zen? Like, I assume you'll have to set a ratio. Are you basically saying at the start of the whole thing, this is the ratio, and so in a way you're kind of setting the price ratios in between the two Zens at that point, or can that change over time?
So the chain's ratios will be set for each moon party based on the valuation and capitalization of Zen within the chain. So like, for example, if Ethereum rallies versus Binance, Zen, then Ethereum should obviously have Ethereum Zen should have more value than BZen, just because, well, I mean, the cost of burn is higher, or otherwise, if it drops and all of a sudden Polygon is more expensive, I mean, I don't think it will happen, but let's say that it does happen, then Polygon is now should get more of an allocation for the Moon Party.
And so you said there would be years of moon parties. Will there be a set number, or is it just keep going on forever, or?
I mean, it depends on the community, and we're obviously going to see what works and what works the best. And we want it to be not the like a giant airdrop where everybody gets XM like right away and then like end up dumping it or something like that. That's certainly not ideal. But we want continuous participation and continuous value creation for the Zenians across all chains. So, and I think the timed release is the best possible way to do that.
Wow, that's awesome. It sounds very, very intriguing, and you almost need AI to try to work out what the best tactic would be in terms of whether you just want to hold Zen or burn it or whatever. Yeah.
Well, we'll have AI help us along this journey, obviously. So.
Yeah, and just one actually. Okay, yeah, I'll continue. Oh yeah, you go.
Yeah,
Sorry,
hang out. There's a few people who've been holding hands for a long time, but stick around and there will be a chance to ask more questions. Tekken, let's go to you, and then Webbait and Taffy Boy.
Well, so if Jack doesn't mind me using him as ChatGPT Plus, I would like him to explain. Well, you actually already explained mining and merge mining for some of us who don't understand or just started mining and don't really understand like how all of the dots are connected. Like, can you summarize it like if we were 10? So some of us could get the clear picture of like how all of these things like interact with each other.
Merge mining specifically?
Well, you could start from just proof of work and then merge mining, because you have to start from proof of work and then integrate merge mining.
Okay, so proof of work is just modeled after Bitcoin proof of work, except we're using Argon 2 memory hard algorithm that basically disallows ASIC mining, because ASICs are they get their speed from having very, very low memory algorithms and executing fast, specifically using SHA-2 algos that are not memory heavy. So Argon 2 is very memory heavy, and you cannot use ASICs, so you cannot actually like get technology to front run your mining. Mining runs at 1 block per second, and you get 10 XNM for each block. Difficulty is shared among the miners, very, very similarly how it's done with the Bitcoin. The most interesting thing is that this whole thing is integrated into EVM X1, where it gets minted by the smart contracts, and you'll be able to get your token released as the ERC20 tokens and then trade them. So that's very unique. Merge mining happens is when you can use the same algorithmic power of your GPU to mine multiple tokens at the same time. This idea I have borrowed from Dogecoin, because Dogecoin was launched on the Litecoin equipment first, and they basically, if you're mining Litecoin, you also could mine Dogecoin. So I figured that we could do something similar with merge mining, where you can get multiple tokens without disconnecting your miner, and this is actually very interesting too. And so yeah, I mean, like that's and the merge mining in the technical sense, you're just searching for different types of strings. Like for example, with XNM, you're searching for a string called Zen11. It's just XEN11, and then for Zunico or Zunis, you're looking for XUNI, but they're only mineable at the top of the hour. And then superblocks, they're mined with the algorithm that searches for Zen11, and it also looks for a certain number of characters that are capitalized within the hash. So that makes Zunis about, like, I don't know, I think 1,000 times more rare to find. I'm sorry, the super blocks are about 10 times harder to find. So yeah, I mean, like, super fun. And it actually, like, why did we do all this? So, like, I knew that NVIDIA is going to be like the big thing in AI space, and I wanted to have the proof of work participants to run their NVIDIA equipment and GPU equipment so that we can actually extend their functionality towards AI powered engines, like whether it's used for modeling or training or inference. Inference is basically getting results from large language models. So the things were envisioned for XNM is using it as currency for AI GPU distributed compute marketplace, where you can actually load your models or test your models or build something new with GPUs, or basically offload tasks. So, like, if you're a miner, you will have an option to mine, obviously continue to mine for XNM, or get paid with XNM for the AI compute that you will be providing through the blockchain technology.
Jack,
we're going to be providing a detailed documentation about everything that has to do with SemBlocks in the Git book that we're working on right now. So there you can read about everything.
Well, listen, my Russian mother-in-law, Svetlana, who lives in Kolomna, okay, she has given me monies to mine.
Давай.
Let's fucking hash. Web8, how you doing?
Hi, Jack. It's Insu Simple. Thank you for hosting this space. It's great to see such a large space. I want to ask Jack about the AI transformer technology. So I'm curious about, Jack, you mentioned that the transformer is like a Google tech, and you knew about it through your friends at Google. So my question is this transformer tech like open sourced, or are you actively collaborating or working with the Google brain guys on implementation transformers on Next One? Thanks.
Yeah, it's open source. So the story goes is that Google guys were working on it, and they released the paper. And there are many implementations of the transformer tech. Facebook released a lot of Python plugins for transformers. If you go to ChatGPT right now, you can say that, hey, ChatGPT, write the program in Python using transformers. Give me something like simple, like Hello World, or something that works, that trains a transformer model. And it will tell you everything and how to do it in Python. And that's a really, really good learning experience. It's all open source. I think Facebook released this library called PyTorch. Again, it's a transformer tech, totally open source. You can use it. And Facebook has been releasing open source models that you can fine tune and train to run them better with the transformer technology. But Google guys just had the idea, and they released the paper. And obviously they have their own, I think it's called TensorFlow implementation of the transformers. But there's other companies, other large mega tech companies that released open source stuff.
Thanks.
Hey, Jack, I have a quick question, sir. Imad, the stability AI guy, he was on a podcast like a year ago, and he was talking about this up-and-coming AI kind of wave, this thing that we're experiencing, I think, right now. And his thoughts, and Imad has a background in hedge funds, I guess, and his thoughts are that I guess this summer, around this summer, that we'll be experiencing the disruption effects of AI across all of our society, of course, of everything. And he dubs it as being tenfold of what COVID was and what COVID did across all the socioeconomic kind of sector. What do you think? Do you think that we can see something like this, this huge disruption force that changes everything around us?
So, I mean, with, you know how they say, with great power comes great responsibility. So the AI can definitely be weaponized, and there's a movement among the scientists. There's a few of them that I know that are trying to put a moratorium on the usage of compute in a way where things they're basically saying like let's put some safeguards and like let's like come up with things to make things safer for like these citizens of the world. And unfortunately, the answer is that in the capitalist society, money talks, and people don't really care about ethics or anything like that. And especially in light of other countries participating, like specifically, there's a lot of Chinese innovation happening in Asia, not just in China but everywhere. And they, even if we put some sort of moral constraints and guidelines for ourselves here, it doesn't mean that they not going to continue with research and develop the advanced tech that becomes more intelligent than every human on the planet, like literally overnight. Now, it doesn't mean that we're ultimately going to get destroyed like immediately, but I do see things like, for example, malicious entities, which are probably, it starts with the humans. They basically will say that, okay, well, we want to influence elections, for example, so let's confuse the populace with the social media and with the AI and give them messages that are indistinguishable from reality. And the AI can actually make it work and give you the subliminal messaging, or maybe even like real messaging that is so pervasive, that is so interesting that you cannot simply say no to that. And then your mental framework and your model, you're not necessarily you're going to become enslaved by it, but your decision making is now under control by someone else. And we obviously have seen this happening with social media, where the algorithms are tuned specifically to keep your attention on the scrolling, so that the ads can be sold to you, so that somebody can benefit from your attention. So definitely with AI, this is going to be more and more and more and more amplified. And but what's really interesting is that there are some companies and groups out there, they're actually working on the AI, like inoculative AI. If the first type of AI is the virus that can be used by the malicious humans, the second type of AI actually is used to protect you from the influence of the sort of AI control that's coming.
Xenobots.
And it isn't like necessarily.
Xenobots.
Yeah, Xenobots. And like if you, here's the funny thing that like I had this thought. So obviously I like Elon Musk and I like everything that he's doing. However, he's just a normal human, right? Like he may wake up one day and say that, hey, I have this army of robots that like literally look like from iRobot movie. And he's gonna like remake the world in the image that he prefers, just to, like using the Tesla robots out there, Optimus Primes and whatever he calls them. So, I mean, that's what just like came to me as I was dozing off to sleep. I mean, like definitely humans are fallible in a way that they may think that they're doing something proper and useful, but then in reality they just accidentally end up destroying the world and the society we live in. So it's going to be a crazy ride for the next 20 years. And I mean, like the number one objective here is of course to make sure like Putin doesn't nuke the planet. And I mean, if he does, then the AI is a non-issue. So we'll
Nah,
have to,
he's laughing at the jokes. He's having a good time.
Putin, Peter off.
So I have a question about XN and X1 as the future of brick and mortar, because I know everything right now is online and on blockchain, which I understand. But there's sooner or later you're gonna have to get to a brick and mortar, like system. Like you can say you're trying to build blockchain that's like in the making and function of Google, or have as much as Google has. So my question is, what state are you thinking about building in, and when are you thinking you're gonna have your first brick and mortar like X1, Zen, like building where people can like familiarize themselves with like X1 and Zen?
I think we need the planet. We need the planet for that. We don't need just.
Well, you got to start from somewhere. So which state?
You know, I am a firm believer in the virtual world. So I think like we don't really need like the offices or anything like that. Um, it's kind of like a low energy tech. Though, however, should we ever have a Zentopia conference that's where every Zenian and Hexican will be welcome to, I think the proper place to do it is in Vegas so that everybody can have fun.
Vegas. What? Vegas?
Vegas, baby.
Vegas.
Vegas.
I was thinking like
Boy, how's your
Wyoming.
buddy?
I was thinking like Wyoming, where we start like building minor plants and shit there, and like buildings there.
Yeah, we'll take
Venice.
community vote.
Let's do Venice, man.
Texas, guys. Texas.
Man, nobody's going to Texas for that.
Yeah, nobody going to Texas.
Texas has all the mining facilities.
We got Atticus up here. Atticus, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for doing the space. Just a quick question. I heard Crypto Bra yesterday in a space say, and I was wondering about this, that the XNM is only going to be tradable for XN. So I was wondering how, and then I just heard you say, Furious, say that there's going to be trading pairs for each of the tokens. So I'm wondering, how's the market cap and the price going to be determined for XN versus XNM? And I'm wondering if there is pairs that the retail and the new people can come in and purchase, how will they make the decision, and will it be confusing for them to choose which one to pick?
So, I mean, obviously the XN is the flagship token because it powers the chain. It's a utility token, a coin rather. It's used for gas and everything. So likely there will be most interest will be there first, and but XNM obviously is also very, very important because it has the AI narrative and grid compute, distributed compute, so on and so forth. We'll just have to see what the market decides. We'll definitely want to pair those two coins. I definitely want to talk to the centralized exchanges and have them list both. And I think they'll have different markets, obviously, because they have different economics. So we'll just have to see. But I think XNM has this like purity where it has that economics very well defined. It's modeling Bitcoin. It has very dramatic difficulty in deflationary emission schedule. I think in 4 years, 90% of it will be minted out. So it becomes very, very rare, very, very quickly. I think it will bring a lot of economic opportunity and economic energy to the chain just by being, so unique. And we definitely want to use it on the centralized exchanges. And we'll basically see where the market wants to go and develop the products around those tokens to yield maximum performance for everybody participating.
So just an attachment. So do you foresee people building on top of XNM over and above just the proof of work, or is it just like an isolated use case and most of the use case will be on the XN token?
I mean, I think it's two different things. So XNM is like this very, very rare token. I don't think people actually should be burning it. But I think XN, you can do all kinds of things with it. Like you can stake it into the validator. You can do delegated proof of stake. The fees is going to be burning it. And then there's all kinds of incentive things happening with XN, where XNM is like this store of value. So it has I would say different DNA of creation. So, and we'll just have to see how community feels about those type of optionalities and go with that.
I meant thumbs up, not thumbs down.
Hey guys, I'm going to take a few more questions and then we're probably going to have to close the space because it's almost been 2 hours and Zensu.
Yep.
Bring in people.
Yeah, let's listen to Elysium. And Jolie lives. They haven't asked anything yet. How you doing, guys?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I have 2 short questions. One is regarding the auctions of Zen. So basically, we pegging the XN price into the Zen auctions. So what will happen when people will be able to buy the XN from the open market. So in theory, it can kill the auctions. Yep. So this is first question, because the auction's supposed to be almost 2 years.
Yeah. So obviously we want XN to be tradable, right? And but we also want the so the way it looks, there's 1 billion XN, and those auctions they'll have an allocation dedicated to them, and to the market it will look like it's an unlock through the participation of Zenians and the burn of Zen. So that's very, very useful. But obviously the other type of XN that can be received through yield or any other means, it likely will be tradable. Or like even if there's a few auctions that come to pass and people get their allocation, they will start trading it. That will create the market clearly. And so if you're a newcomer into the ecosystem, you will have an option. Use Zen to play in the auction or buy XN on the market directly. I mean, like definitely also an option. Very, very similar to Zen, obviously, because with Zen you get to mint Zen, and then you're running a risk of high gas later, or you can buy the market from from the liquidity pools. So it's similar, and different types of risk profiles obviously exist. I mean, like clearly, if all of a sudden XN has $1 billion valuation and it's rallying, it's becoming 2 billion, and you want to have it in your pocket ASAP, then you will be more likely to buy it from the centralized exchange, from the DEX, and you're not going to be waiting 30 days to see if you get an allocation through a moon party. But certainly there is an arbitrage opportunity, because you may be thinking, well, wait a second, I have a lot of Zen and I'm going to definitely grab a big chunk of XN in the moon party, so maybe I shouldn't be buying just because I'm a big Zenian OG. So I mean, look, there's a lot of game theory surrounding this, and I think everybody will have something to do.
There is a worst case scenario here that it can be a situation that there will be no incentive to participate in the moon parties, because it will be, for example, more cheaper for you to buy from the open market.
So if that happens, well, guess what will happen? So let's say that there's barely any people burning Zen. Well, that means that if you can come with 10 Zen, you get the whole allocation. So like clearly you would want to do that because you're going to win on the arbitrage.
Okay, and my second, thanks, Jack. And my second question is regarding VMPX. The bridge is still going to be developed, or the VMPX is going to use for something else?
So we have a lot of options to use VMPX with. We definitely do want to use it for the bridge, and we're working with the Libre guys to make it happen. At the same time, we recognize that should DEX1 actually launch sooner than later, then we want to give, and the bridge is not ready yet, then we want to give VMPXicans the opportunity to participate in moon parties as well from both Bitcoin and the Ethereum side.
Okay, thanks.
Let's go to Yoli Lives.
Good morning. First of all, good morning. And
GM.
holy shit, excuse my language. I was just like wandering around my house, I feel like, in my Sunday brain, with a t-shirt, making coffee and relaxing. And I fell into like fantasy game theory here. And I've got my Sunday brain on. And I'm like, holy shit, this is very excellent. And picking up of people's mistakes, perfect. Community, excellent. What you're saying. But I feel like how do I put my clothes back on so I can learn more about this? I'm hoping you're going to have more spaces and I can like come dressed next time with my Monday to Saturday brain and learn because whoa. I'm impressed.
So what are you
and
wearing right
lost.
now?
Oh my God. Well, marbling. My brain is marbling. But what I'm learning is okay, that wasn't a real question, so I won't answer it. But thank you for asking. And thank you for doing this. Excellent.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here. We'll definitely have more spaces and more streams, and we always been very engaged with the community.
there's a million Telegram groups that you can join based on your topic of interest, and we're always there to communicate.
Yeah,
Thank you.
execute. Do you wanna take it home here? Joseph also probably has something he wanted to say.
Joseph can go first. He's been waiting a while.
Yeah, Jack. So I had this question, like an idea, basically, but I didn't spend too much time thinking about it. But I'm just gonna bring it up. Maybe you can give me your thoughts on this one. So you're now trying to create X1, like basically, combining this consensus mechanism, proof of stake based on Phantom and proof of work, utilizing this Argon 2 GPU mining. So you mentioned that there'll be a possibility for people with Xenium to buy allocation of a percentage of combined GPU power from XNM miners to do any GPU task, whether it is AI or not AI related. So the idea I had, as you know, like right now, a lot of people who are using AI, they go to like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, using Claude, etc. But it's a insanely huge market, and it's bringing, like, anytime new tool is released or a new model, there's quite a lot of people jumping on it, and there's a lot of attention given to it. But as you also know, each of these companies that are behind it and spend a lot of money to develop these models, they also do their own way of censoring these engines. So I'm curious, it would be technically feasible to allocate some very default small percentage of the XNM miners GPU power to basically create like an open source, unshareable, completely decentralized AI model that would be kind of like basically a version of ChatGPT living among the network of Zenblog miners, and where people could, come in and do their own uncensored AI querying.
Yeah, well, this is definitely is the vision, and I have worked with the Llama 2, which is the Facebook open source model that they trained, and various versions of that are fine tuned, whether it's for technical discussions or like some entertainment or scientific knowledge. And we definitely should be able to load all those models into the chain, and they're going to be open source. The question comes ultimately is the safety and the ethics and all kinds of things. They're important questions, because you can launch the sort of model that's completely uncensored without any sort of guide rails, and some people could be convinced that they need to hurt other people just by learning something that the uncensored ChatGPT or the version of ChatGPT tells them. So we have to spend some deep thinking into what should be allowed and shouldn't be allowed. And then again, if we are the ones to make the judgment, I mean, who are we to make the judgment like that? I mean, with the corporation, it's pretty obvious. They're responsible to their investors, and they're guided by their corporate charter and the board and all that. But in the decentralized world, things can go out of hand very, very quickly. So it's a balancing act, whether this is safe or not safe. And again, I would find myself in a very, very difficult position to decide whether I should be the one deciding what's safe or not. So this is a very, very deep philosophical thing that we need to ultimately explore, because it's definitely coming.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. But you know what they say, somebody mentioned, or somebody said it, I forget who it was, but they said, which AI do you think will kill you? Will kill humanity? And is it the one that you're going to build fences around, or the one that you let freely walk?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a clear answer. There's no clear answer there. There's no clear answer, because it's not the AI that ends up killing you. It's humans killing other humans. So, and then what prompts them to do it, what kind of trigger they're gonna have, is based on their situational awareness and the technology they're exposed to.
So that's why it's a very, very difficult and deep philosophical conversation.
We'll discuss it Zen World. Okay.
Sounds good. All right, one more question, guys. LFG.
All right, I have the most important question here, and I always
take us
ask
home.
it.
Execute.
It better be good. It better be juicy.
W, a big capital W, E, N, X, 1. When X1.
It's already live. It's just not mainnet yet. But truth to be told, I mean, like clearly we want this product to be amazing, and we're spanking it very hard right now. I'm very happy with the team's progress. We're growing our validator community. Those guys are great. I think in the last 3 months we have had at least 800 instances of validators running. We have found some bugs that we're working to fix. We're not going to wait for the kind of like the AI development for the chain and launch it with the AI. We're going to launch it sooner without the AI engine and then implement it per the roadmap. So currently, Zensu and I were working on the Git book, and you guys have seen Git book. On X, there were screenshots from the book there, and I think we definitely want to have the world know what they're getting into, and that's why proper information and proper documentation is really necessary. In terms of technical stuff, I think we're getting pretty close to getting most of the bugs resolved, and yeah, I'm super excited about this because and I kind of like wanted to make a short message, but I guess I'll say it here. So the main difference with X1 and the rest of the blockchain technology and solutions out there is that most of the tech is implementing a settlement layer that's also acting as an execution layer, and those things are not compatible, and here's why. So with the peer-to-peer technology, when you have heterogeneous network, heterogeneous actually means that you have many moving parts, many different types of servers that are running like all the way across the world. You cannot expect the chain to run fast just because all of those parts are moving at different speed. And more diversity you have, the slower the chain becomes because it needs to account for all the votes out there. And that is the Achilles heel of today's technologies, that pretty much every chain is thinking that somehow they can integrate the execution layer with the settlement layer at the same time and be fast and yet fully distributed and ginormous in size. So what we're doing that's different, we're implementing a layer 2-like technology, which is modular on top of the settlement layer, that allows for this kind of like a creation of virtual blockchains that are very fast within the settlement layer itself, without any sort of slowdown of the largeness of the chain. So in other words, we can exist in the heterogeneous environment, but have the AI engine actually choose the committee of the validators that are validating transactions and executing transactions. So the execution environment is always going to be fast, and it's going to be a set of servers that will always be rotating. So with Solana, there are rotating leaders, and leaders are just servers and nodes that produce blocks and propose blocks. But then the rest of the network have to vote on it, and they need 2/3 of the network to vote in the blocks. If the network goes 10x in Solana's case, well, they're going to be 10x slower, just because you cannot avoid laws of physics. In our case, we are not using the leader model. However, every subcommittee is like a virtual blockchain leader in itself. It virtualizes the speed of execution and then gives up control, and it's governed by decentralized and distributed AI. So that is the ultimate like holy grail of the blockchain technology today. Ethereum is trying to solve it with layer 2s, and they're trying to basically saying, okay, well, there's Arbitrum, there's Base, there's Optimism, and those guys are fast. But the reality is that market is getting more and more fragmented. They need to get more and more tokens. Our vision is top speed blockchain that is the largest in the world, fully distributed, has the best decentralization, and have the best economics, and obviously have the best community and the best tokens, and so on and so forth. So we can all buy ourselves a solar system and have a planet. Planet Zentopia. Anyway, that's my vision, or that's how I see it, and I'm super excited about it.
we're all very excited. Guys, this has been an awesome space. This is about Xhex or Xhex, which I guess you can call it as well. It's going to be...
And it's about biting the hand.
Biting the hand.
Biting the
it's going
hand
to be
that-
a free claim token on X1 when it launches. If you had Xhex or PHEX on the 9th of March this year, when the snapshot is going to be taken, then you'll be able to claim. Exactly more details about that and how the contract is going to work, etc., is to be decided. But it's a very simple meme thing without any kind of centralized control. It's to stimulate the growth of X1 and stimulate community. And let us know what you think about it. And we are in the chats as always. If you have any questions, just shoot them.
I can't wait to see it. Everybody that
Brasai,
in the
brasai.
space, go
And buy a
check your
Rolex
Ordinals
if you
wallet.
have the money. Buy a Rolex.
No more Rolex.
You need a
Then
Rolex.
stake it, and then stake it on Xhex. Then
But,
stake an actual Rolex.
For serious though, everybody in the space that has an Ordinals wallet, go check out your wallets because you might have a free iPhone sitting in your wallet today. The past 3 days have been like mad airdrops with the rune stones. They're roughly going for $3,000 right now. So it's early Christmas, very early Christmas. If you guys have Unisat or any type of Ordinals wallet.
You're suggesting we trade them for an iPhone, homie?
Well, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want with it.
Up to me.
Pay your rent. Do something. Take some gains.
All right, awesome guys. Thank you for the space. And as you know, there's this new Telegram group called Xhex. We can move the conversation there. We're always available. And thank you for your attention. And we hope to see you again soon in spaces and YouTube streams and Telegram voice chats. LFG.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking hash. Let's fucking sex.
Xhex.